When I kicked off this year playing my first ever solo acoustic gigs at restaurants and bars and private events and backyards, I never, ever could have imagined that I would be playing at a performing arts center such as the Bank of New Hampshire stage, opening for a huge country act with Runaway June. This year has just taught me so much and has surprised me in so many ways. And I think if there's anything that I can attribute to it, it's just that when you let people know that you have a dream, and when you start chasing it as hard as you freaking can, the people around you and the ones that love you will help you get there. And I know that
the final question usually is a too hard, too fast story, but I'm gonna give you a choice. Would you like to give us a too hard, too fast story, or would you play for us?
Ooh, I could play for you.
Yes, right choice, baby.
Hey lady, can you tell me how long it takes being stuck here in this place? God knows there's a lot at stake, but I got something I gotta make, 'cause turning 5 doesn't happen every year.
Hey, welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast. In this episode, we're in Massachusetts, baby. And if I said that with an accent, well, because I have one. We're actually near Boston. We won't say exactly where, but we are near a nice body of lake here with the Ben Durand, Nashville's next rising star.
Appreciate it, George.
No problem.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Ben, you were actually on the podcast when I was still Zooming, and we Zoomed. It was fun. You played for us, and I had a great time getting to know you and your story, and you going from an Auburn quarterback to trying your hand at playing music, creating music, writing your own songs. We got into some personal stuff that we're going to talk about today. But dude, thanks for having me out here. I'm glad that I came out. And then you have this nice little scenery right here. We're not in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm not sweating as much.
I'm sweating though.
Yeah, but this is nice weather, so we're outside. But let's sit back, buckle up, let's go too hard, too fast. Hey.
Hey, this is Ben Durand, and this is going too hard, too fast.
We're out here on the lake, baby, Massachusetts. I'm here. All right, so like I said last time we were on Zoom, you had just made, maybe not just, but you were pretty early on with trying your hand at music. But now, you know, your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, for all those old people out there like me that we still use Facebook, it's blowing up. And then you're playing a lot of gigs. You've been in some very awesome shows that we'll talk about. Opening up for Lee Bryce, actually being on the, I said Nashville's next rising star, but it's up and comers.
Yeah, it was Nashville Newcomers up at the Bank in New Hampshire for Runaway June was the show I opened.
Nice.
Yeah.
How has that experience been from starting off to where you're at right now? And I know you're still, growing, but
yeah, no, I mean, it's been a hell of a year. Like,
has it been just a year?
Well, yeah, I mean, from when we interviewed, it might have been a little over a year, but, my first ever, my first ever solo gig was at the Kentucky Derby last year. Not at the Kentucky Derby, but I did a Kentucky Derby party, and that was the first time I ever did a solo gig. So from there till now, it's been about a year and a half of really performing out every single weekend, playing all around Massachusetts, New Hampshire, a little bit in Rhode Island for weddings and stuff. So, a lot's changed in the course of a year for sure.
I like me some Rhode Island. I've only been there once, but it was pretty nice. When you opened up for Lee Bryce, was it nervous? How was it nervous? How nerve-wracking was it? Because I can only imagine Doing elite Bryce is pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was pretty nervous. I'm not gonna lie. It was the first time I was really opening for a big country music star. But honestly, just meeting him and being at that event, it was so comfortable. It was at my buddy Kevin Hayhurst. He has a bar up in New Hampshire. It's in Paugus Bay, right on Lake Winnipesaukee. And it was a charity event that night. A lot of like family and friends of his came out, so it was a really warm room. And it was just a great opportunity to get exposure to Lee's audience. I had a few folks of mine come up as well, which was great. But just an awesome night. He was so encouraging, total class act. He's actually a former walk-on as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played football at Clemson.
Okay.
So he was a long snapper there, and him and I were talking about, playing college football and what that experience was like, and just a great all-around dude, for sure.
Did you talk to him before the show or after the show?
After the show. So he actually didn't get to the bar until I just had hopped up on the stage. So he was there for my set, and then once I finished up, he went on, and then after he was finished, there was like this downstairs green room, and we hung out in there for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that was something that I was wondering about, because I saw you met him and had a conversation, but I was wondering, I think I asked you on the way here, like how nervous or how you deal with right before you get on the show. So I was, somebody like Lee Bryce, I wonder if they get the same feeling.
He looked pretty calm and cool. It was like, if he had any nerves, he wasn't showing it for sure. I was probably much more nervous than he was. But yeah, no, it was great. The entire day leading up, we made it like a whole day of it. My wife and I, we went up early. We got lobster rolls up in New Hampshire, and went to the bar early. Got to meet like his crew that was setting him up, and hang out with some of the patrons that were there. And honestly, it was an experience I'll never forget. My cousin Bobby came up too and took some video, which was really cool.
Do you think? Oh man, I do wish I could know like what's that like if he is at a comfort level where he's like, this is just another day, to where, or let's say, how do you feel? Like, I know we said you kind of take the day and just chill, but leading up to a show, I know you have a show tonight, at the boat here in Tingsboro.
Yep,
I just said it right. And so thank you for before this, before your show, for doing this. But
of course,
what are you feeling right now?
I'm just excited, honestly. I play at the boat all the time. It's one of my favorite bars to play at. It's hometown crowd. A lot of my friends and family will be there. So I'm not nervous right now. I always get butterflies before I step up on the stage, but really just kind of chilling, hanging out with you today. Get some cuddles from my new baby girl. And
I was gonna say from me.
But yeah, no, I feel good. I feel good. I kind of like my pre-show routine is I always have a later breakfast, because I don't like to eat right before I go on and sing, or at least I like a little bit of time in between me eating and going on to sing. So I usually have breakfast at like 11, maybe even like a late, like early lunch, like noon, and then that's it. And then whatever time the show ends, that's when I eat again. So if I'm playing like 8 to 11, I'm not eating till midnight. If I'm playing 4 to 8, I'll eat at 9. So not ideal,
yeah,
but it works for me.
What's a after show meal for you?
Honestly, it's pretty boring, but I love grilled chicken Caesar wraps, and I feel like every single bar in America just has a grilled chicken Caesar wrap, so I usually get that and some sweet potato fries.
Nice. Dude, I love this breeze. I wish this breeze was around when I was setting up, and I wouldn't be as sweaty. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching the video, if you're just listening in and you hear a lot of air, maybe some water splashing, people swimming, we're outside. We're right outside a big lake. What's the name of this?
It's called Lake Muscuppick.
Muscuppick.
Yeah, me and all my buddies. Actually, my hat, it's on backwards, but the other side, it has MWC. Me and my buddies, we have like this wakeboard club that we created.
Oh, nice. Called
the Muscuppick Wake Club. It's actually turned into like a wake, surf, and ski club. So we're expanding. Always looking for new members. So And yeah, they'll probably be out there at some point surfing.
I've never done it. I don't think I've ever any of it.
On the next episode of 2 Hour Too Fast, we'll get you up on the boat.
Really going too hard too fast, dude. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. I've ridden behind like where they pull you with you're sitting on a tube or just grabbing on for dear life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've done, but that's about it.
I'd send you flying.
And then some jet skiing. But so, well, actually, I'm a little curious now. Like, how did this crew start?
So we all are just hometown kids from Tingsboro, and literally a few of the families already lived on the lake. They've been here for forever. And when I moved here, it was the summer of COVID that happened right after. And we, as a group, you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything, but we could be outside. And as long as you were in groups of under 6 or under 8 at that time, you were good. So we, every day when no one was working, we're just out skiing and wakeboarding. Like, COVID sucked for a lot of people, and I got to admit, my experience during COVID, like, our life was very simple and very fun, and we just hung out here the entire time. So we just started making merch and clothes, and no one really has it besides our crew.
Yeah. But
we wear it nonstop. I have like probably 30 MWC shirts up there and like 5 hats.
That's hilarious. Dude, this is, if I was going to be locked up in a house, this would be the area that I want to be locked up in.
Appreciate it.
My experience was more like I was potty training a 3-year-old or 2-year-old at the time. So that was pretty cool. You're about to eventually get to that stage.
Eventually, yeah. Are
you planning?
I don't. I'm gonna have to read some books on how to do that.
Dude, we tried to read books, and there was nothing. And really, what worked was nothing that was like ever in a book or that I saw in a book. And the reason I bring it up is that last time that we were on, we talked about your song "Waiting on You." I think you had just either were about to release it, thinking of releasing it, and you had mentioned it was a little bit not controversial. I don't know if taboo or just not always talked about.
Yeah.
Parents that are trying to have children and it just doesn't happen, or they just have a difficult time. And I think it's more common than people talk about or people know about, only because people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We're asking God why He could deny love that we want to pass on to our next generation while we're stuck here waiting on you.
Well, yeah, they don't talk about it. I think because I would think parents might feel, I don't know if ashamed or bad, or just hurt maybe. And I can't speak for them. What were you feeling at the time? Because your song says it a lot. It's pretty dead on. Like, it made me feel very. It made me. I don't want to say I cried.
It's okay. It's okay to cry.
No. It made me. It gave me the feels. So I can only imagine for somebody that was going through it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, any sort of journey with infertility is just the most painful experience. I feel like it should almost be like a human right to be able to have a kid when you are ready to have a kid and when you want to have a kid. And so, like, for someone like myself and my wife, we're high school sweethearts. We've been together for 15 years. Even in like our high school yearbook, she was talking about like, what does your dream life look like? And it was like settling down, getting a house, having kids, being happily married ever after. Mm-hmm. And so it was tough. It was really tough. We were trying for a little over 2 years, and just we had a couple false positives that were crushing, and it's just a really painful experience, and it's so many more people go through it than you ever realize. And when I started opening up, and then when I wrote a song about it, the amount of DMs and messages that I got was incredibly just humbling of like, wow, like this is way bigger than I thought it was going to be, and so many more folks are struggling with this, and I still have some really close friends that have gone through multiple rounds of IVF and it still hasn't worked for them yet. So just constantly keeping them in my prayers. And it's weird, like even for myself, we finally had our miracle, you know. I had a baby girl 2 months ago, baby Montana, and as excited as I am, there was still a sense of like guilt of, I feel like these other people should have theirs by now, and like I'm just praying that they get that opportunity, because I know they'd be the best parents in the world, you know. So yeah, it was heavy. It was definitely a really tough time, definitely not talked about a lot, but through my song and just my experience, I've tried to really open up about it. If anyone is going through it, like reach out to me, reach out to friends, open up about it, because they'd be surprised, you know, how many other families and couples are going through it.
Yeah, and especially you mentioned the IVF. Like it's pricey to do all that, and then to still have to endure the fact that it did not work or has not worked yet.
Yeah. We had we went through our first IVF cycle, and we only got one embryo. They told us that they saw 3, and 2 of them actually weren't even embryos; they were cysts, and they were showing up the same on the scan. So we had the one, we did the implantation, and then my wife had a miscarriage 8 weeks later. So it was just rough. And then you have to go through the entire cycle again. You know, it's reordering the shots, going through the entire insurance process to get qualified for it again. It was a lot, and it's a lot. You know, my wife is getting shots to her gut every day, like the hormones and like the emotions of it was just, it was the toughest thing that her and I have ever gone through.
Yeah.
But now being on the other side of it, it was worth every single second of any pain or heartache that we endured, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I hope all these folks that are going through it finally get that reward at the end, because it is a lot. And unfortunately, just for some, it doesn't end up being that way, and it's not fair, and it sucks. But yeah, it's definitely a big part of our life. We have actually 2 other embryos on ice, so God willing, we're gonna try for another one after Montana, and we're gonna try for both. So we have maybe the potential of 3 kids. Nice. Or if we're just with Montana, we'll be as you know,
as happy as can be.
Happy as can be. Yeah.
No, congrats on Montana. She's got to meet her for a little bit before she went down for a nap, but super sweet, super pretty.
Thank you,
baby. What was the reception after you put the song out? Because I don't know if you were a little nervous or not to put it out, but I was nervous for you, just because if it does feel like that kind of topic is like, whoa.
Yeah. So admittedly, I feel like it hasn't done as well as I had hoped for on Spotify, or just from like a streams perspective. Mm-hmm. A lot of that's probably on me. Like I didn't do a really good job of promoting it.
No, it's Spotify's fault.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
You're going to get me canceled by that.
No. Well, I'm on Spotify too, so come on, Spotify.
But yeah, it's just, I didn't do a really good job at marketing it. I should have done a much better job at it. And you know what? All that to be said, though the streams weren't great, when I play out and I'm live at shows, it is still the most powerful song that I play out. Like the crowd reaction, you can hear like a pin drop at moments when I'm playing it for folks, and just the emotions and the response I get at the end of it makes me really proud of like the piece of art that I created, even though it hasn't had maybe the success that I thought it would have on the streams. I've had multiple, a lot of people come up after playing it, and they're like, start opening up about their story and what that song meant to them. And if that is as far as that song goes, It was worth it, you know? And even personally, I needed to get that one off my chest. Like that song, I could have made it more broad. I could have done a lot of things to make it more general, but I wrote it very specific to me and Britt's story, because it was really a personal song.
Yeah. No, it's I'm not sure what the right word for it is. It's powerful. it's I don't know if raw is the right word, but I feel like that's what it is. It's raw because even though I'm not in your shoes, I felt it, and I actually um, uh, on the way we were coming back from lunch, and this buddy asked me about the podcast that I was going to do with you, and he was like, "Well, who is he? What does he do?" And so I was like, "Dude, his music is good." Played some songs, and we got to that song. We kind of just like stayed quiet, and I was like, "Yeah, I got him." And he has kids too, so I don't know like his story, but like if I knew like it captured him.
Thank
Like,
you.
we just sat there in silence for a little bit, let us sink in, and then I said something stupid just to like cut the break the
No.
ice. Well, earlier when you said you got embryos on ice, that was my mind went straight to tequila on ice, and I was like,
Too hard, too fast.
too hard, too fast. So moving from that song, and how, like I said, powerful and how emotionally driven it is. Your next release was Beer League.
Yeah.
Correct? Also, not in the same regards, but for somebody where we played high school football, and that's where everything ended. And I think I played like very little high school football compared to actually graduating as a football player. But the dream is always like, oh, I'm gonna go to play in college and I'm gonna play in the NFL. And I'm super short. There's no way I'm playing anywhere other than high school in a small town of Texas, border town. So a bunch of Mexicans my age, I hope my age, hopefully, my size.
You were playing with 20-year-olds in high school.
Probably. No, but for some reason that's the dream, man. Right? Especially in Texas, everything shuts down. Even in that little town, Friday nights everything shuts down.
Heck yeah.
Because the high school football game is going on.
Oh, what you do for another chance to run through that goal line. Feel your hometown crowd go buck wild. Your first love is gone by 18. Welcome to the beer league.
So, I think you think it's more of a guy's song, or do you think girls can relate to that?
When I wrote it, I was like, this song's probably for the boys. But then girls in my shows are like, I relate to that song just as much, even though I'm saying like, I'm referencing guys multiple times throughout the song and like boys and whatnot. I've had a handful of girls tell me after I performed it, or even the ones that went to like the Bank in New Hampshire show when I played it for the first time. They're like, that song brought me back to playing field hockey in my last game, and which is great.
Yeah.
You want a song to
try and to the masses.
Yeah, as many as you can. But yeah, I really was proud of writing that song, just because to me it really encompasses the nostalgic feelings that folks have playing their last game of sports. And the beer league title actually came from a teammate of mine from college, a friend of mine, Tucker Tuberville. He had told me during college.
That's a cool name, by the way.
Tucker Tuberville, I know. TT. He was telling me how that, no matter what level of sports you play at, whether it's the NFL, college, high school, we all end up in this funnel down to the beer league. Once it's all said and done, everyone's playing in an intramural league where there's beers on the sidelines and it's just for fun. And, as someone that transitioned into playing into the beer league after Auburn, it was hype. It was like the most fun I was having every week was, Saturday mornings. We'd get up at 7 o'clock at the field by 8. You'd have 30 teams out there on the field playing different flag football games and just having the time of your life. And so the song is definitely reminiscent of like, hey, these are the feelings you're going to feel on your last game. We've all been there. And at the same time, like, cheers to you. Welcome to the beer league, because it's not so bad on the other side, even though it feels like the world's ending right now.
Yeah. I can imagine especially for people that guys or girls playing whatever sport to where they're that close to. Dude, I can't even imagine that feeling, because I know, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play in the NFL, and like in the back of my head, I was like, no, I'm not. Like, that's not what's gonna happen. But there's people that's exactly what they're going for, they're striving for, and they're that close, and it doesn't happen. that like it's heartbreaking on its own.
Happens in everything, though. You know, it's like you got people in the workforce that are working their butt off to get that promotion, and they don't get it, and
Yeah, but then that's not as fun. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It happens.
No, yeah, it's just, you know, I have realized that, like, with every phase of life, if you're given something 110% and you come up a little bit short, it's just tough to deal with, right? And I think sports in general is, like, put on a pedestal, right? Because it's so universal. Everyone, like, most people play sports growing up, or some sort of sport, or they're into an art, or they're into dance, like, whatever it be, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you come up a little bit short, it's like, and anyone can kind of relate to that feeling. But, you know, with regards to football, you know, I've definitely been there, coming up short.
It makes sense how you were saying the workforce. I mean, I wasn't thinking of that, but I wonder if it's because we're, at least here in the U.S., like that's like the almost like the top of society life. I don't know if that's professional sports or arts, you know, musicians. Like, to make it like that in that regard, I guess we hold it in the top pedestal.
Sure.
To where obviously we should probably hold our teachers, nurses, and doctors, and maybe some doctors, you know. I don't know. They're trying to sell us some other stuff. But you know, like those jobs that are like grueling, and yet people get up and do it, are garbage collectors, or police officers, firefighters.
Yeah.
You know, obviously those should be held in a higher regard, but sometimes I wonder if it's because we see them more often. Like, if I go out, you know, to a store, I'll probably run into a police officer or a teacher.
They're more accessible.
There's.
And, you know, with those other professions, they're making millions and millions of dollars, right? So it's like, not only are they doing a dream that, like, anyone that's picked up a guitar would love to, you know, I'm sure be playing stadiums, or if you picked up a football, would love to be running out of the tunnel on a Sunday, right? But, it's like easy to kind of fall in love with those people, because it's like they did it. Yeah. Like, we all did this, and they were the 0.5% that made it all the way to the top. So, yeah.
Going into your performances, when you play a gig, I know tonight's show is supposed to be packed. But you also do shows to where, like, it could be a variant of things, of patrons that are there. Have you had the experience where, no fault of your own, but, and I've seen this, like, I've gone to like a popular bar or popular like live show place, and then just have somebody playing, but nobody's there. Like, has that happened to you? They just keep playing. They have to keep playing.
100%. I'd be lying if I think any musician that has played as many shows as I have in the last year, if you haven't played a dead spot, then God bless you. like you're pretty lucky. I'll never forget. I'm not going to name spots or anything, but there was a show last year in the summertime, and it was a holiday weekend, and I took this weekend off from gigging because I was like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this one with my family. It'll be a good weekend just to kind of relax, because last year I was playing at least 3 gigs a week during the summer and working full time. So I marked my calendar, wasn't going to gig. Last second, this place in Boston that I've really been wanting to play at had put on their social media that they were looking for an artist for that Saturday. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I know I took this off, but this would be a great opportunity to get in with this bar. I think we should give it a shot. And she was like, yeah, no, like, hey, I'll come down with you. Like, let's go and enjoy a Saturday in Boston, play a show. I'm sure it'll be packed. It's beautiful weather, you know, right in the middle of summer. I went down. I kid you not. I played for 3 hours for one couple from Norwegia. They were a Norwegian couple.
I was going to try to say it too, and I messed it up. So
Norwegian couple, just the two of them, had no interest in country music. They loved the songs. They had a blast. They were just kind of taking in the city. No one was in Boston. Literally everyone went to the Cape. It was my wife at the bar, one bartender, and this couple. And I had to put on a show for my wife, a couple, and a bartender for 3 hours. And I was like, wow, this is really humbling. I've gone from like, playing packed houses more locally to then going into the city, being super hype about going out. And also part of the challenge was I picked up the gig the day before I went on, so I had no time to promote it. Or
so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's no fault of your own, or even the bars, because they didn't know who was coming.
No, it was very humbling for sure.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's pretty cool though. Like that you still did it, and the people that do that, because I know I went downtown San Antonio. I went to Pat O'Brien's with a friend. He was visiting, and we got our drinks and we went upstairs to sit on like their little porch patio area, and the music's going and it's nice. Like the guy's playing good music, and I looked down and I was like, dude, there's nobody sitting there. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like not even, there's nobody.
Yeah.
It's us upstairs, and the bar was kind of dead too. Like we were kind of surprised too. Like it's Pat O'Brien's, it's downtown in a, I guess, high traffic time.
Yep.
And just nobody. The bar was just dead, anyways.
Yeah.
But
I played another gig up in New Hampshire where I had a bunch of family that came out, which was really nice, and they were the only ones in the audience. So like there wasn't a single other person outside of like 15 people that I brought. And I was like, wow. Like, I guess when you play out, you love getting exposure to new people and new audiences, right? And so it was all my family for like the first 2 hours, and then randomly the last hour, I don't know if an event got out or something, there was like 80 people that came into this bar out of nowhere, and it made it for like a super fun last hour of the set. And I ended up going a little bit over because like everyone was hype, and so I've been on both sides of the spectrum for sure.
And again, like I'm not talking mess about that. It's just an experience I saw, and I was like, poor guy. He has to keep playing. Like he can't just be like, I'll wait till somebody comes in, and it's like, no,
they're paying you to play. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is an experience. That's funny. And I can't believe. Well, again, it's happened to you, but it has. If you do get to promote something, I usually do see that a lot of people are like into you. Regardless if they are going to come see you or if they just follow you on social media. What is that like? Because I know, again, when we first talked, it was early on, but dude, the comments I read and the people that come onto your lives, like, you got fans. It's a big deal.
Thanks, man.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
and it's a testament to your work and your music. But what is that feeling like?
Very humbling. It's I'm very self-critical, and I'm self-critical, but I continue to take the step forward regardless. Like, I've gotten really good at stepping into fear and not letting it halt me from doing things. Like, I confront fear, I push through it, but at the same time I am like very critical of myself, and I have that imposter syndrome. Like, am I any good? Are these just my friends kind of trying to pump me up? And because I have great friends, man. Like, I've lived in this town, I've lived in this area my entire life. I feel like if I opened an ice cream stand and it was the worst ice cream in the world, they'd still come out and support me. They're just incredible friends. But it's expanded beyond that, right? It became folks that came to one of my shows for the first time, and now they've come to like 8 or 9 of my shows, and they've become my friends. And it's really just a humbling experience, because music, you have no chance at any of this if people don't support you.
Right.
You can write the best songs, you could have the best voice in the world, but if no one shows up, or if no one plays your music, or no one shares it to a friend that says, hey, I think that they'd be interested in the stuff that you're putting out, your circle stops. It's like a fire without oxygen. You just get smothered. And so I feel like everyone that has been with me from the start with my music journey knows how hard I'm working at it and how much I really want this to become a career for me, that they have supplied oxygen to it. And when I put out new songs, they're playing it, they're adding it to their playlist, they're sharing it with a friend, and it's just organically grown. Like, I've never paid for a follower. I've probably spent less than $100 total on promoting music. It's all been word of mouth. It's all been sharing. I do think it's important for me to start investing in marketing and promotion. But to this time, it's been completely organic, just friends, family, new fans in a way, that have supported me and helped expand my reach.
Yeah. It's important to have those friends, and it's really cool.
'Cause I haven't always been this way. I can't remember what made wanted to become 4 to 5. Sneaking shots in the car and I swear.
No, I want to talk about your new song, and I know the song is also, dude, what is your thing with powerful music, man, and lyrics? Hey Lady is the title.
Yep.
You just put it out on social media. Is it out on like Spotify and all that?
It's not yet. Literally, that video that I posted was 12 hours old from when I wrote the song. So I had my laptop like set up on this little stand in front of me. I'm literally reading the lyrics because I hadn't had it memorized yet. So that one's like hot off the press. I'm going to try and get to a studio to do that.
I'm sure by the time this comes out, it's probably close to or already out. So
yeah, you'd be surprised. It takes time to get songs recorded and mastered and produced, but
fair enough. I'm just thinking about a podcast I edited and put it up.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, very different.
I have no idea what music takes.
It's a lot. I think honestly with that song, I don't know if I'd release it as a single. I really want to release an album or an EP. I have enough for an album, but it's just a lot to get an album done. Like, I give massive credit to artists that have been able to do a full album. I think I want to do a 4-song EP, and that will be one of the songs on the EP. I've been doing a ton of writing. Just in the last 2 weeks, I've written like six new songs.
Oh, nice.
So I have a lot in the chamber right now, and yeah, that'll be one of them for sure.
Okay. So a little bit on it. It's a song where this person is talking. I'm not sure to who. Who is Hey Lady? Who is he speaking to?
Yeah, I guess it could be interpreted in a lot of different ways, but the perspective that I was writing it from was someone going into rehab for the first time. So they're going up to the woman at the front desk who is checking them into the rehab, and Hey Lady is like, hey lady, like, you know, how long am I going to be in here for? Like, I got to get out of here soon. Or like, hey lady, can you tell me how long this is going to take? Or like, hey, can you give me some help? I'm not doing really well. Just kind of that first encounter that you have when you're checking yourself into a rehab. Alcohol has definitely like touched a lot of my friends and folks from this area, and not just alcohol, drugs in general. And so this was a song just that talked to that experience that they're having, in just kind of the outsider's view looking into what that might look like. Yeah, and I wrote that a couple weeks ago. It's gotten a really good response so far from folks that have listened. No,
it's really, again, like I said, it's powerful. And, you know, I think for everybody, not everybody that I know, but for people that I know, the guys, the boys, you know, we went from like partying hard, and then we slowly start dropping off because we start having kids. And
I needed to.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, we me and my buddies, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but like from freshman year till sophomore year, that was when we really started getting into drinking, and, you know, heavy drinking. And a lot of my friends, are just a lot of folks in general, when you start that young and your destination, or like your end result that you're trying to get to, is just get hammered and have fun.
The other goal is, who isn't puking tonight?
Right. Yeah, like you didn't go hard enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, or if you haven't had a hangover, you've never drank enough. Like, it was just so
the dumb goals that we set for ourselves.
So dumb, and like, you know, and it carried on way too long. Like for me personally, like I was still doing that way too late into my 20s, and you know, it hasn't been until actually music where I dramatically cut back on drinking. And you know, I never had it to the point where it was like a sincere problem where like I would have been checking myself into something, but
Right.
it was a little bit too much. Like it was way too heavy on the weekends, and you know, constantly wasting away an entire Sunday or an entire Saturday from a late Friday night. Like just immature. And with gigging and trying to build a second business, so to speak, or build a new career, there's just no time for me to be wasting an entire Sunday or not having my voice in good shape for a show. So honestly, I've dramatically cut back. Like typically I'm like a couple drinks at the end of a show, or you know, maybe less than a handful of beers on a weekend now, and it's been like the best change for me. I haven't cut out alcohol, but I've dramatically reduced it.
Yeah, it's the same here. Mostly because I needed to get back into like a better shape. Compliment.
Oh, I'm working on my dad bod right now. I need to get back to the gym too.
No, but yeah, that's where I went from a dad bod, and then I just went, you know, just a bod. But yeah, so I had to get back into the like better health, and so yeah, dramatically decreased. I was about to say increased, only in Boston. But no, and with the podcast also getting a little bit more traction and guests. If I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't really drink as much, or you know, the when I invite people on, usually we're just drinking water.
Yeah.
Mostly, and it's because like if I do this with one guest and I go to the next guest, and it's like I can't keep up, and then I'm not editing any videos because I'm just like trying to recover.
Yeah.
So now it's a little better, and I'm more in the right mindset for trying to formulate questions on the spot depending what the guest is giving me.
Sure.
So yeah, man, and it just feels a lot better. But to that song, you know, the buddies have also said, isn't it just everybody? I know I've said it too. It's like, oh, when I have my kid, I'll stop. And it's like, oh, well, he's still young, you know, like he's asleep, you know, everything's fine.
Yeah.
We'll go out for some drinks. But eventually it gets to the point where it's like, no, like he needs to go to practice. He needs to go hang out with his friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you can't do that if Friday night you were out getting wrecked, and then Saturday morning, you know, you have a play date. Like it's not gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as enjoyable. Like you're not really present in the moment. And I know you're gonna go through that too, where she's gonna be going and meeting friends, and you're gonna have your play dates, and they're not all gonna be fun, but you're gonna be in your present state of mind. But that song, so it hits on that level, but then, like I said, you and powerful lyrics, like you feel that, like that I need help, and then also it's how long is it gonna take?
Yeah. I just I really struggle to just write a song. Like, you know, if someone was telling me like, hey, write a song about I don't know.
The next jingle, yeah, I know what you mean. Like the next, like I drive a Chevy and blaring music.
Yeah, and hey, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I sing a lot of those cover songs out of bars. They're fun as heck.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're great. I just personally, I need to write from experiences that are going on. And actually, I had a mentor, or I have a mentor, Charlie Chronopoulos, who's been really, really a dear friend of mine, and just a great communicator of music and where I should, you know, structure my focus and whatnot. And he said to me, he goes, Ben, if you were to write down on a piece of paper the 10 best things that are happening in your life right now and the 10 worst things that are happening in your life right now, and you wrote a song about those 20 things, that'd be a hell of an album. Like, I would love to hear that as the story. And so I did do that. I started writing down top 10 worst 10. And a lot of the songs that I've been writing and the ones that I'm releasing now are those emotions or those experiences that are happening. And it's been such a great, like, kind of framework of, okay, I know where I want to spend my focus. And then it's kind of finding the right way to attack it and how you're going to tell the story. But yeah, I really love writing from personal experiences. It's therapeutic for me.
Yeah. Now, and you know, I jam out to those, like, so not it's not silly, like just like the real quick hits. And I mentioned Chevy just because, like, there's a new song. I don't remember the name of it, but I just went from a Tundra to a Chevy, and now I'm jamming to that song because like it fits me now.
Absolutely.
But dude, like, one of the biggest people that I'm listening to right now is Jelly Roll. And
Yeah.
I know he's been out forever, but his music and his voice, obviously, but his music is very personal and sounds very personal. And I don't relate to most of it. Like, I'm not going through the things that he went through, or maybe his friends have gone through, and that's what he's writing about. But they're powerful, and I think that's why I'm a big fan of yours as well. Like,
Thank you.
your music is powerful, and I know I've said that many times, but there's no other words to say. You know?
Well, shout out to Jelly because he's like a top 3 artist that I would love to write with or just be in a room with. Like, he is such a vibe. He is like a bigger than life personality.
Yeah.
That guy has gone through more people go through in probably 4 lifespans, you know? And it shows in his music, right? He has such a great way of connecting with people because he sings from the heart. He writes from the heart. He's definitely an inspiration. I mean, he's just the man. I love Jelly.
Yeah, no, same here. And my son listens to it too because, you know, I'll play the music, and he loves that too. And he obviously he can't relate. He doesn't know most of the words, and maybe he shouldn't be listening to some of those words. But his voice captures too, so that's one of the biggest things too. And with you, and you know, we're coming close to the end of the episode, but I definitely wanted to not forget to say that one of the best things I like about you and your music is how you're singing along perfectly, and then you throw a little bit of the raspiness to it. I love that.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I love that, man. And I like when musicians do that. Like, it just makes it, again, raw, like in the moment, the feel of it, and you know it's like there. Like, you're not. It doesn't sound manufactured.
Yeah.
So
No, I
like
appreciate that. Yeah, we try and you know, actually I have a new song right now that we just got a demo back on, and the vocal take was almost too smooth. Like, it doesn't have enough of the rawness and, like, the dirty edges, as I kind of like to call it. And I don't want to put it out because I'm like, I feel like if I was singing this at a live show, it seems too polished, like too edited or too something. And
But
so
it could show your range. It could show, like, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was like, you know what? Let's do one more vocal take on this. So that'll be a song that I go back to and just re-record vocals on. Because to your point, the feedback that I get from everyone is they love it when it's more stripped down, more raw. Like, the more authentic, the better.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I don't live in Nashville. I'm not working, you know, with session players that are on huge records. Like, I'm making the most of what I have available to me up here, which is incredible talent. Like, no snuffs at all. But I also don't have endless pockets to be, you know, putting tons and tons of thousands of dollars into songs. You know what? A Morgan Wallen song, just to produce one Morgan Wallen song is upwards of $10,000+ per song. So I can't compete on that level.
Yeah.
And then there's the marketing behind it, right? So for me, trying to just keep it as real and authentic to my live performances as possible with bringing in other elements will serve me the best, I think.
Nice. I think what works for you is what's gonna keep you going. You never know, like, if you do make it, it sounds ugly, but to say when you make it big, I hope you never have to be put in a place to where they want to change your sound, because I think again, I'm just a guy that likes to listen to music, and I like to listen to your music. So I hope it's always that rawness.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? One more question. I'm gonna give you one more question. But before all that, where can people follow you, find your music?
Yeah, I mean, easiest spot is just bendurand.com. So if you go to durand.com, it has all my shows listed there, all my social links. You can find everything. Instagram, I'm at Ben_Durand_music. Same thing on TikTok. I do have a Facebook, like a public profile, but I haven't been very good at updating that. I'm also TikTok or YouTube. So yeah, and really, if you just Google Ben Durand, you'll find my music somewhere.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You're top of the charts at Google when you can Google your name. That's awesome. Sometimes I'll Google my name, and every now and then you get a little bit of like little thumbnails of the podcast, but only because I don't put my full name. But you Google Too Hard Too Fast, and I've taken over. It's no more. It's no longer Too Hard Too Fast movies. The what is it?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
I've taken over, baby. But the final question, usually is a Too Hard Too Fast story. But I'm gonna give you a choice. Would you like to give us a Too Hard Too Fast story, or would you play for us?
Ooh, I could play for you.
Yes, right choice, baby.
Need to maybe have a sip of my coffee. I ran out of water halfway through the podcast. So, oh, that's kind of cool. Check. That sounds nice.
It does sound pretty cool.
Heck yeah. We're going to take him on the road. George, you want to come to my performance tonight? Just hold the mics like that for 3 hours straight.
Just awkwardly stare into your eyes.
Stare into your eyes the entire time. I would do that for this song, but I have to actually look at what I'm playing because it's a lot of finger picking. So this one's called Hey Lady. This is the song I wrote from the perspective of a friend of mine who just went to rehab for the first time. So heavy song, but I also think it's kind of like a hero story. You're kind of rooting for them to get the help that they need, and for anyone that's struggling with addiction, seek help. Reach out to that friend that you have, family member. There's people there that love you and want to come through for you. So hope you like it.
Hey lady, I could use a little help. I've been fighting with the bottle. I'm a danger to myself. Hey lady, I can't do this on my own. Made a promise to my little girl, and daddy's gotta come on home. Hey lady, I heard you help get people clean. Hey lady, can you do the same for me? 'Cause I haven't always been this way. I can't remember what made 1 to 2 become 4 to 5. Sneaking shots in the car and I swear I wanna change, but wanting it ain't enough these days. I split a rock in 2 at the bottom. Now I'm looking for the man I've forgotten. Hey lady, hey lady, hey lady, can you tell me how long it takes being stuck here in this place? God knows there's a lot at stake, but I got something I gotta make. 'Cause turning 5 doesn't happen every year, and I wanna be right there, making good on the bad I did, being there while she's still a kid. 'Cause I haven't always been this way. I can't remember what made 1 to 2 become 4 to 5. Sneaking shots in the car at night, and I swear I wanna change, but wanting it ain't enough these days. I split a rock in two at the bottom. Now I'm looking for the man I've forgotten. Hey lady, hey lady, hey lady, I could use a little help. I've been fighting with the bottle, and I'm a danger to myself.
That was awesome. Also, my shoulders hurting. Dude, that was again powerful.
Thank you, brother.
That's the right word.
Thank you.
I love your music. I love that I was able to spend this time with you.
Likewise, brother.
I'm gonna go ice my shoulder. Real quick before we close out, thank you for the T-shirt, Ben Durand Music.
Yes, sir.
Is this you sell this?
Yeah. I need to get some more shirts made, and some more Costas. But actually, the Costas are from my uncle Jimmy. Shout out East Costas. Those are super cool. And Carbon Colors were the ones that made my Ben Durand shirts. So that's Jake and Ann Tenorella who own that local small business. So yeah, come get some merch.
Yeah, man, I love it. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for the gift of music. Thanks for your music, and thank you for your time, Ben.
Thank you, brother.
No problem. Hey, remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye.
Peace.